Hey, you remember that series of video games that started on the Nintendo called Castlevania? Well, in 2017, it got an anime. Except, it's not an anime. Netflix's Castlevania is an anime-inspired American animated series. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Anime-inspired American animated series. Anime-inspired American animated series. Anime-inspired American animated series. Anime-inspired American animated series.
Anime-inspired American animated series. Let's go. Which mostly covers Castlevania 3 and Symphony of the Night, I think. I've never played any of the games, but this is what I was told. And it is... I don't even know how to explain it. It is just amazing. Castlevania from start to finish is an extremely interesting and enjoyable story, which continuously got better with each season. Except for Season 2, because it's been a long time and for some reason I don't remember anything from Season 2. Without spoiling the entire thing, Dracula for some reason, which are spoilers obviously, goes on an absolute rampage. Such a violent rampage, I don't think I can show it on YouTube. And Joseph Joestar, Trevor Belmont, ends up having to stop him, and also meets other characters along the way. If I had to pick which part of Castlevania was the best, I personally don't think I'd be able to answer that question. Everything about this series was just mwah, chef kiss. From the story, especially seasons 3 and 4, to the fights, the cast, this is the best character by the way, etc. Castlevania just did it all so well. And let's try and explain this without spoiling everything. Animation. Wow. I don't think I can put into words how much I absolutely love the animation and art style of this show. Every fight scene just feels so fluid and perfect, whether it's a hand-to-hand fight scene or Trevor using his metal whip thing against some demons. It is almost too good. Powerhouse, I think is the name of the studio, they just went bonkers with the animation. Seasons 3 and 4 somehow just went beyond that. My favorite fights have to be Strida's daytime armor fight, Isaac versus Carmilla, and the final fight of the series. Voice acting.
What's your name?
Jesus of Nazareth.
Try again.
Trevor Belmont.
I don't think I've ever seen a series with more perfect voice acting. Every accent sounded good and natural. Nothing really sounded forced or flat out bad, because I feel like with a lot of dubbed anime and just shows in general, whether it's animated or live action, if a character curses, it sounds so forced and just kind of funny.
Or they might call a bear to tear you apart. Spriggans, nature's guardians, my foot. Mean things, they'll curse.
Who had thought? About what? That a young buck like you could actually do the right thing and avoid getting his sorry butt kicked out the game.
On the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again. I heard the thieves broke into...
It also, just like with everything else, got better every season, and especially when more new characters started to appear. Like this guy.
Shut up. You sound like a cow farting.
The woman in the book dimension.
The sphere within the corridor. I am sorry.
The villains, everybody had a great voice that fit their character perfectly. Speaking of the characters, let's talk about Castlevania's cast. Castlevania genuinely has one of the most solid casts I've seen, along with series like JoJo, Breaking Bad, Berserk, etc. There weren't many characters that I disliked. Trevor went from being a character I thought was pretty cool to honestly a great main character. Sypha was kind of annoying at first as well, but eventually got way better. Dracula as the first antagonist of the series was also really good. Pretty much all of his appearances were as menacing as a JoJo character like Dio. Every time Dio was on screen, it was like this intense moment, and Dracula basically emitted the same amount of menacingness.
There are no innocents! Not anymore! Any one of them could have stood up and said, no, we won't behave like animals anymore. I am Vlad Dracula Tepe, and I have had enough!
One character that I think went from pretty cool to godly, though, was Isaac. Isaac was my favorite character in the series. He went from an interesting character who was basically just known as one of Dracula's really loyal, like, companion minion guys, to one of the most menacing and dangerous and coolest in the series, especially in Season 4. For some reason, at the end of Season 3 and the beginning of 4, Isaac just decided, yo, let's fight the most dangerous character in the series so far because revenge and loyalty. Again though, overall, really great cast. The power system. Now, the power system isn't anything too crazy or unique like Spin from Part 7 of JoJo or Nen from Hunter x Hunter. It's just magic. The magic is pretty well done though. I liked all the different abilities and all the items, whether they were elemental or dimension traveling rocks or whatever it was, I don't remember. I also thought Isaac and whatever this guy's name was, their abilities were really cool. Basically with Isaac's dagger or knife and this guy's hammer thing, they can turn dead corpses into demonic night creatures. And I forgot to mention this, but night creatures are the mini bad guys like Berserk's little demons and apostles. Speaking of the night creatures, these have to be some of the most perfect and creative demon designs ever, along with Berserk and Devilman Crybaby. And you guys know how I feel about Devilman Crybaby's character design. It is bonkers. The soundtrack. I don't really have anything to say about this, it's just perfect. The plot. Now, this one's going to be difficult because I want to do this without spoiling, and this series has a lot of twists. Really good twists. I can't remember one bad or underwhelming or disappointing plot twist. The setting also made the story way more enjoyable as well, being set in, I think, the early 1400s if I'm not wrong. The more I looked at this series, the more it reminds me of like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, which actually makes sense because those were inspired by Berserk, which also inspired some elements of Castlevania. And speaking of Berserk,
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I think this might be the best Berserk reference in animated history. No, scrap that. The best Berserk reference in history. Yeah, I know Elden Ring exists. I don't care. Now, I do think that some of the pacing early on can be like kind of slow and a little weird, but I still really enjoyed it and didn't really have many problems with it. But if you like lots of action, lots of gore, and a great story to go with it, you absolutely have to check out Castlevania on Netflix or on some random site. But that's the end of today's video. If you did enjoy and want to see more like this, please hit all of those supporting Satchzy buttons down below, since my goal is to hit 300 subscribers by the end of 2022. Check out the links in the description, like the Fiverr if you need an intro for your YouTube channel, the podcast if you want to listen to Nico and I and maybe a guest talk about stuff we like, and the side channels. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.